Hi everyone, welcome to lesson 2. Hopefully you've gotten a good start by now, but I just want to show you what you need to do just to make sure that you fully understand. In lesson 2, we are going to talk about search engine concepts and how we can retrieve information on the internet. And I think right now many of us have heard, if we watch the news or if you play around online, ChatGPT is artificial intelligence that is being used by a lot of people to find information on the internet. It does a great job of summarizing things that I don't want to say knows, because knows actually isn't the right word when we're talking about a tool like ChatGPT. It's important to remember that ChatGPT doesn't actually know anything. All it actually knows is that some words are likely to be close together, and that allows it to guess by looking at its previous dialogues a lot of information about a lot of things. So here's what we're going to do. If you look in your Blackboard, you will see up at the top there is a PowerPoint about search engines and search engine related things, and then there are instructions for ChatGPT right under it. I will go ahead and tell you, I let ChatGPT explain to me how to use ChatGPT and wrote it up and captured it here. So once you read through the objectives to look at what we're going to do, there are several articles out of our book about fair use, search engine basics, and how to use search engines, and including some advanced concepts in search engines. Once you have read all of these little articles, each one of these links to an article. When you come to it, you'll see the topic is usually on the left. If you're reading it on your phone, I'm not sure exactly where the menu is, but our topics are over here, and you only need to read this article. You don't need to go to the next page. You don't need to keep reading. We link to a bunch, or I link to a bunch of individual articles for you. So you only need to read this page. If you would like to do this, these are for your own understanding. You are not required to answer these questions. These are for you to understand what is going on. Once you've read through these articles and read through the ChatGPT assignment, there is a pre-assessment right here. It's an ungraded quiz. Just take it real quick, do your best on it. It will kind of just give you hints as to what is important about the material by letting you see what you need to do, or what is going to be important about the material by taking this little quiz, what you already know, and that sort of thing. Then this is our instructions. We're going to choose a subject by picking a topic that we know a lot about. We're going to prepare a list of questions, at least 10 questions about your subject, to help you figure out whether ChatGPT knows about your topic or not. You're going to engage with ChatGPT by asking it questions and seeing what it says in response. Once you have looked at what it said, if you think you find an error, find a source that says what the right answer is, and kind of compare your previous knowledge. This is not to be, you don't have to take this super serious. This is not an academic paper. This is a homework assignment. You don't need to dig into it, but that's why we're picking topics that we know a lot about, so that we know whether it is right or not. Once you've figured out whether it knows about your topic, this is the more for fun thing. Ask it to do something creative with your topic. For example, you can have it write you a short article. You could have it write a script for a screenplay. You could have it write bullet points for a presentation. Practice asking it to do something like that for you. Look at what it says and see if you like how it is, and then turn this into the discussion forum by telling us, what did you do? What questions did you ask it? Was it right or not? Like, what kinds of things did it know about? Describe what it said to you. What did you do to verify the information? And then go ahead and attach the content to the post that you make so that we can all read it and see it together. So remember, as I said with ChatGPT, get down to these tips for avoiding incorrect information. Always cross-reference. Double check what ChatGPT says. The reason why we're bringing this up for you guys is it's going to be very tempting to cheat using ChatGPT. Many of the questions that you are answered, ChatGPT can give you some sort of reasonable answer, and especially if English isn't your first language, it may be tempting to lean into ChatGPT and to use it to create work for you, which is going to be plagiarism at Wake Tech. You are not allowed to use artificial intelligence unless you have been specifically authorized by any given instructor, but the default policy is that you just can't use it right now. A lot of professors are changing their courses so that they're integrating what it knows and it doesn't know, but the artificial intelligence is just predicting words put together. The newest version of ChatGPT is a little bit better at math, but the old version is laughably bad at math. It's bad at doing things like counting because it's not actually following a procedure. It is just reading through, or has already read through, a lot of academic materials and a lot of source materials, and so it kind of knows what words go together, but it's not doing processing exactly. It's very much like the predictive text on your keyboard, just very much smarter. So it's not hard to find mistakes in ChatGPT's work, and it has its own particular way of expressing itself, and it's not a reliable source of information. What it is good at doing is rephrasing, looking for errors in things, and helping you make better work yourself. And some professors are going to allow you to do that, but right now it's very much a new tool, a new technology, and your professors are on the watch for you letting the computer do the work for you. It's important to remember that once you're an expert in a topic, once you understand it well, it's a wonderful tool. Until you understand it well, it's a dangerous tool because it can tell you things that aren't true and you have no way of catching it. Okay, enough about that. There's more about that in the articles about why it is good and bad, what you can do with it. Your second assignment, after you've done this exercise and posted it to us, your second assignment is to, in the text submission box, which means you have clicked on this and hit write submission right here. Excuse me. You click write submission and you get a text submission box. Please don't type your answers into the comment box. This is an aside. If you need to let me know that you had an emergency or something like that, or you misunderstood something, or you aren't sure something right, that's what the comment box is for. But the text submission box is where you need to be writing your answer and putting in your work. Which brings us to what the questions are. What is fair use? How do you know if you have the right to use an image or a text in a Wake Tech assignment? What's the consequence of using plagiarized materials at Wake Tech? Basically, do you understand your academic integrity agreement? Do you understand what will happen if you cheat? And then you need to find 2 images that you might eventually use on a personal portfolio website. We're going to be building a website over the course of this class, So find 2 images that express you or your brand. You may use your own personal images, or you can use a copyright-free source, and I've listed off a few here. But we're going to go ahead and start collecting content from to use on our personal websites. We're doing this to make sure that we understand what you can and cannot do at Wake Tech. And I will give you a hint. These 2 questions are 2 questions that ChatGPT doesn't know the right answer to. We'll discuss why after you have done your assignment, but I know that the answer that ChatGPT gives for these is wrong for Wake Tech students, because Wake Tech's policies are slightly different than just regular fair use. And so we're going to try and make sure you understand Wake Tech's policy and you can find whether or not you're allowed to use something. So here's how it works. ChatGPT, you'll come to openai.com and come to their ChatGPT product, find it in their drop-down ChatGPT, and then you will sign up. You do not need a paid account. You can do what you need to do through the free account. Once you've gone through the sign-up process and have created an account, you can try ChatGPT, and you get a screen that looks something like this. I have a paid account, so I can use the GPT-4, the newest model, but you just ask it a question. Old questions you talk to it about, and like I said, I've used it extensively for writing some of the help documents in this course and trying to simplify some of the work and words, but it takes a great deal of double checking everything it does, so it saves time, but at the same time it costs time, if that makes sense. But I might ask it a question like, what is fair use? And it will spit out an answer. And I can say something like, make this simpler. And it can give me a more simple version. And I could say, create a bulleted list of the important things about fair use. And it can create a list that might be appropriate for PowerPoints or a presentation or something like that. I can also go in a whole different direction and say, write a story about how a student was caught cheating and what happened to their life. Use high school level vocabulary and talk like a pirate. And it says, avast me hearties, gather round and listen to the tale of young Barnacle Ben, a scallywag, blah, 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 blah. So this is what you're supposed to do with this. You are allowed to use it for this assignment, obviously. And in our course, we are going to be creating a personal website. So one of the things I could have it do, and you are allowed to use ChatGPT for content for your website. So I could say something like, write a professional paragraph about a teacher. Actually, no, let me do it this way. You are, and we're telling ChatGPT how we want it to talk. You are a teacher at a community college called Wake Tech. Write a paragraph introducing yourself. Mention your time as a defense contractor, your experience with, no, gosh, I'm getting old, with 20 years of software development and your love of education. Be sure to mention your master's degree in educational media and online learning. Oh, I forgot to tell it not to be a pirate anymore. I needed a new message for that. Repeat, but don't be a pirate anymore. And you see that it generates a pretty halfway decent chunk of content that with some minor editing, I can place straight onto my website. So for the things that we're going to do, need to, you know, it says it's loosely right, but it knows nothing about me, but I gave it enough information to say something that sounds similar to what I might have said. And then I could use this content for my website. You will be allowed to do this in chapter or lesson 3, as long as you make it detailed enough to be about you and contain true information about you. So you need to double check it. But honestly, it's not a halfway bad little paragraph. So that is what you need to do for lesson 2. If you have any questions, please email me or reach out to me on Teams. It is the fastest way to reach me on Teams, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can.